I've been doing this YouTube channel for over 2 months now, and I really, really wanted to make this video called Behind the Camera. Because when I watch myself back, the experience of editing myself has taught me a lot of things. And watching my takes and seeing where I lose my confidence and how I feel and what makes me stop talking, to me has shown me just how much I don't realize the power of my own voice. And I wanted to make this video for you because I feel like you probably also don't realize the power of your own voice and your own thoughts. Because I would notice I would be talking, having a perfectly articulate sentence, and like as in my editing brain, when I'm watching it back, I'm like, okay, good, this is good content. And then suddenly I cut out and I shut down, and like sometimes I just freeze. And I'm gonna show you some takes so you can see what I mean. Or sometimes I just said something a little bit funny, or I had because, I said because, or like, or so, or and it's bothering me, so that I'm redoing it. But as an editor, when I'm watching, I can see when something was good, and then I started to question myself, and I completely backed down from it. Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed the first video. We're back for a video. I guess I didn't bother that. Okay. Um, so I am. Come on, Kim, you've almost made it to the end. You can do this. You can do this. But if you can be faithful in that, if you can keep being dedicated and working hard, there is I don't really know if I understand that sentence, so I don't really know how to explain it. I guess God help me. This living punishment for Cain? No, how do I explain this? God help me, how do I explain this? I think it's this is such a fail of a video. I can't talk today. I maybe need to stop just trying to push. I can't do it today. Okay, I gotta stop because Mom, let's try. We're almost there. It's 2 more verses. Wrap up the video. You can do it. That's my pep talk to me. Gosh, such a struggle. The two are united into one. So I wanted to make this video for a couple of reasons. I wanted to make it because I wanted to show you guys that I struggle. Making these videos is not simple and easy. It does get easier the more you do it and the more practice you feel at it, but almost every day I go to film, I have to push myself to get in the chair, to get everything set up, and I spend some time praying before I start because I know there's something in me holding back. And yeah. So it's crazy to me because as an editor, I can see my value when I'm watching it. But I'm just going to use the word performer, I'm not performing, a speaker maybe is a better word. As the speaker, when I'm sitting in front of the camera and saying things, there's all kinds of stuff internally going on telling me sometimes like, oh, this isn't good enough, oh, it's not quite right, it's not there. And there's all these thoughts and feelings that stop my tongue and stop it sometimes when it shouldn't be stopped. Or I have thoughts that like the Holy Spirit's inspiring, so I start going, but then I can see myself start to reel back because like what I'm saying is not familiar to my own tongue, because sometimes that happens too. Sometimes God's giving me a thought and I'm speaking it because he's given it to me, and then halfway through the thought I'm like, this is not my own thought, and I start questioning whether or not what I'm saying is true. But then when I go back and look at the Bible, I'm like, oh, no, 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 okay, God was right. That was God, and he was telling me something true and good, and people need to hear this, and I needed to hear it. And it's just incredible to me how much we fight through when we want to speak. I think it's not just speaking, I think how much we fight through when we want to live, when you choose life. We're living in a battlefield. We're living in a world where there is opposition against our voice. There's opposition against our breath. There's opposition against us being and against our freedom. And that's because of darkness in the world. God exists, but so does the devil, so does the enemy, so do demons. There's all kinds of things in the world that want to hold you back from who you really are, and hold you back from speaking, and hold you back from being. So I just wanted to make this video to expose it, to expose the darkness, so you can see what it looks like when it's shutting you down. And so that I hope that you can feel the way I feel, which every time I watch a take and I see myself hit a moment like that, there's something in me watching it that's like, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, please keep going. And I'm watching the take, I can't remember, I'm like, did I get back to that point that I just cut off, or did it just end there? Because I really want to keep that in, but I need to finish the thought. I hope she finishes the thought. And watching it is like this experience where I feel like that's how God feels when he watches us, where it's like, she almost got there. She almost did it. She started taking these steps. She started saying, or she started doing and moving in this direction, and she was almost there. She almost got to the point of breakthrough. She almost got to the point where she was gonna hit that thought that she needed to be released from something, and she stopped herself. And I feel like God watches us do this every day, where he's like, you're almost there, and he just wants us to keep going, and he wants us to keep trying. And I just imagine how frustrating that is, because as an editor, I'm watching, I'm frustrated. I'm like, why do you doubt yourself? Why are you doubting yourself so much? Because even if what was coming out of me was wrong, I at least finished the thought. And then in the editing, I can look and see whether or not it's good. Don't judge it in the moment, like at least complete it. And I just feel like I learned so much. I feel like God looks at me, and there's things he's asking me to try and asking me to do. And at the same time that he's doing that and he's seeing me step in, he's also watching me give up. He's also watching me be like, it's not working, I'm done. He's also watching me cut it out, when from his perspective, he can probably see, you're so close. You're so close. If you just took it that little bit further, who knows what would have happened. So, behind the camera, life is not easy. We live in a world where people put on social media their best sides, their best smiles, their best look. And that's actually one of the reasons I decided not to wear makeup for this channel. I filmed the very first video, and I looked at my face without makeup, and I thought, I look so ugly. I do not want to post this. And all this insecurity and self-consciousness came over me, which people who know me know I'm not the typical person to deal with that. I don't often deal with it. So it always surprises me when it suddenly comes in, but it came in watching that video. And I even started to think, why don't I wear makeup more often in daily life? Why do I let myself look like that? And it was sad to me. And as soon as I started to feel that way, I knew that wasn't from God. So I decided I'm going to have to film my videos without makeup now, because I don't ever want makeup to be something that gives me confidence. I want to feel confidence in myself. I would love for makeup to just be a fun, artistic add-on to myself that I do for fun, but I never want it to be a mask that I have to wear because I'm ashamed of my own face. And I think that's not just true for our physical appearance. I think it's true for our emotions and our hearts and our deepest feelings and desires. So much of what comes out of our mouth when we talk to other people in conversations or even in these videos is coming through edited, because we're trying to think what the other person's going to think about what we're saying. Are they going to understand what we're saying? So we have these thoughts and feelings inside, and we rarely let them out just purely raw, because I'm not saying that it's wrong to do that, because There definitely is some wisdom to discernment and knowing that not every person can handle what's going on inside of you, but some people can. And God definitely can. And this is why I so recommend a relationship with God if you don't have one, because he's the one being that knows all your inner thoughts before it's edited, before you can alter it, before you can check it at the door. He sees all the internal before it comes out, and he knows it in detail. He knows every inner thought you've ever had from the day you were born till now. And he knows every hair on your head, and he knows you so, so intimately, and he loves you. And we need that. We all need that. We all need someone that completely knows us and loves us, because we second guess when someone loves us. Do they really love me for me? If they really knew me, all of me, would they still love me? And the answer for God is yes. The answer for other people is not always yes. So I understand the fear, but the answer for God is always yes. And not only is the answer for God always yes, but when people are Christians, God is continually working in their hearts and their minds and their souls. If they're open to his spirit and his movement, which if they're genuine Christians, they will be. He's continually working to give them understanding about you and your inner world as well as their own. I know this because I've experienced it where God, I see someone who looks perfectly okay on the outside, and God gives me a word about what's going on the inside. And he gives me a word of encouragement to go give them. And I question it. And I go, no, that person doesn't need that word. That doesn't seem like that matches. But I feel God inspire it. So I'm like, well, I mean, what's the harm in trying? You go and you tell the person because you're like, well, if I'm wrong, they'll tell me. And so many times it's happened. You just watch the person break and cry because they realize someone sees me. Someone sees me behind the camera. Someone sees me behind the mask, behind the social media, behind the face I put on today. Someone sees me. And it's so important that when we look at each other, we look with compassion. We need God's Spirit to do that because only he knows the inside of each person. We need his Spirit to show things to us and to help us understand each other. So, just a reminder today, when you're going about your day, and you look at people and you interact with them, you don't know. Even your best friend, even your spouse, you don't know them as well as you think you know them. There are parts of them that are still hidden to you. And it's not something to be scared of. It's a beautiful mystery that we can uncover as we get to know each other in relationships. And some of it is scary, some of it is not pretty, but God can give you the grace to handle it as it's uncovered. I want to share with you a picture God gave me before. He said, every person is an ocean. So when you're on the surface of the ocean, you only see so much. See the glitter of the water, the waves. You can see, sometimes the waves are rough, sometimes they're calm. You can see them reflecting the light. But when you dive into the ocean, you go beneath the surface, there's so much more. You'll see coral and different fishes, and you may see things that have gotten lost down there, and hidden artifacts and historical things, and there's scary things like sharks that are like, oh my gosh, I don't want to get close to that. And then there's like amazingly beautiful things that you will never know from the surface if you don't dive deep down. And it's scary to dive down because down there you don't really have all your breath. You don't really know if you have everything to survive this deep dive into somebody. But God is like our breath. He's like our oxygen tank to go down into the depths of who someone is and really get to know who they are at their core. And I feel like this is a vital thing our world needs if we do really want to be a place of love and a place of safety for people. People have to be known. But they have to be known through the eyes of love. They can't just be known, like on social media. All of us know, even with trying to put up our best faces and, editing our content before it goes out, you still get people misunderstanding you, tearing you apart, seeing it completely different than what you meant, or even if they understood what you meant, hating what you meant, hating who you are. So just being known is not enough. That's not really what people want, is to just be known. Being known is scary. If people don't know you and appreciate you or know you and love you, then it's scary to be known. So we all want to be known, but we all want to be known by love. And I pray you remember that. I pray you remember that with every person you interact with. That that person wants to be known and loved. And you may have a little piece of love that you can give to them today. And if you know God, there is something about them He wants to reveal to you that you don't know yet. He wants you to go deeper. He wants to bring you deeper into understanding other people and loving them well. Because you can't love someone that you don't know. And the more you know them, the more you can love them if you have God's Spirit. Although this is a different style of video, I still want to end this video and this thought with prayer. So if you're open, just get yourself ready, get your heart ready. God, I just pray for every single person watching this. I just pray a blessing of them over them, Lord, that they will just feel your Spirit close to them. I pray if they don't know you, that their eyes will be open to you and their hearts will be open to you. And I pray, God, that you just inspire in them right now words of encouragement and love for those around them. I pray that you inspire the words they need to deepen their relationships with the people around them and come to know them beyond the surface. And I just pray, Lord, that the love that they have for other people will continue to grow through your Spirit. And I pray that for me too, God. Help me to grow in love. Help me never, ever to hold my pride over what you've asked me to do with this channel. Help me never to shut down my tongue if you've told me to speak. And help me to stop getting in the way of any thoughts you want me to say. And I pray that for every person listening to an echo of that prayer I just said for myself. I pray against pride in you. I pray pride will never stop you from your calling. I pray you'll never be too proud to be vulnerable. I pray you'll never be too proud to take a risk and try something that you know deep down is going to be good for you and good for someone else. And I forget the rest of what I prayed, but I pray it for you too. I pray it for you too. Whatever I said. God, bring it back. And I pray if you're wearing a mask, that it's smashed today. I pray you don't wait to smash that thing and start letting people see the real you. And start to uncover some of maybe even the hidden pain and let God heal it. Because I think there's a better world out there that we can have than what we have right now. And I believe that all of us can move towards it if we move in love and kindness. So I pray all these things over myself and you and the world in the name of Jesus. Amen. I hope you guys have a great week. Thanks for joining me for this video.